everybody, welcome back to another episode of Check This Out. I hope you are doing very well. On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at a sweetened condensed milk bread. I gave this a try last week, and it's the lightest, fluffiest bread that I ever tasted. I tried making it exclusively in a bread machine, but even with a programmable one like the Zojirushi Virtuoso, it's still kind of tough because the rise times kind of vary on it. So we're going to have the bread machine give us a hand. We're going to have it do the hard work and do the kneading. Anybody out there who has a bread machine of any kind, there's usually a dough cycle, and that's what we're going to use on this one. It usually kneads the dough, does the first rise. After that, we're going to bring it out, shape it, put it in a bread pan, let it proof, and then we're going to put an egg wash on it, bake it off, let it cool a little bit, and then put this glaze on it. And I guarantee you this is going to be the most fantastic bread you've ever tasted. And if you use this for, like, say, a French toast, I haven't tried it yet, but I have a feeling that it's going to be astounding. So let's get over to the bread machine, get our ingredients in there, and get the first part of this going. Okay, let's open up the lid and get started. The dough cycle on mine is number 11. That will vary according to the type of machine that you have, but almost all manufacturers recommend that you put in the liquid ingredients first. So I'm taking 250 milliliters, or about a cup and a half, of room temperature milk. Put that in. 75 grams, or about 2.5 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. All right. Then we're going to take 1 egg, slightly beaten. Get him in there. And then we're going to take about 50 grams, or about 2 ounces of softened butter. And now the flour kind of varies depending on the moisture content of your flour. I'm going to say it usually takes somewhere between 450 to 500 grams, which would be about 3.5 to 4 cups. And I'm going to go ahead and put most of this in, maybe all for except about half a cup. And after it starts kneading, we'll check it to see if it needs any more or not. What we're looking for is the dough not smearing around the bottom or sticking to the sides. We want it pulling away from the sides, cleaning the bottom off, being a slight bit tacky, but not too wet. Next thing we're going to put in is about 30 grams, about 2 tablespoons of sugar. 5 grams, or about 1¼ teaspoons of salt. 7 grams, or about 2 teaspoons. This is just instance, not the rapid rise, not the bread machine yeast. Make a little well there for it. Put that in. And that should be about it. We just need to hit start on your dough cycle. It should knead it for us and get our first rise. Then we'll take it out and start shaping it. We'll check back here in a minute after it's been kneading for a while, see if it needs any more flour or not. All right, close it up. Hit the start button, and off we go. Okay, I've had it kneading for a little bit. Let's take a look and see how it's doing. Yeah, that's about right now. I really don't want it sticking to my fingers, but I want it a slight bit tacky. I did have to add the other approximate half cup, or about 50 grams, but I think that's just what I'm looking for here. You want kind of a soft dough. It's cleaning off the sides. I think that'll be good. We'll close it up and let it finish the cycle. Okay, the dough cycle just finished on the bread machine. I turned the dough out here onto a lightly floured surface. This recipe makes 2 loaves, and it works best in a 7x4 loaf pan. but I don't have two 7x4s. I've got a 7x4 and an 8x5, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine. So what I want to do now is take this, get it roughly into a rectangle. It's going to be an 8-inch pan, so really we want it, yeah, kind of about 16 inches. So when we divide it in two, it should fit pretty well into our pan. Okay, something like that. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to roll it anyhow. We just want to try to get it approximately to the place where we need it so that it'll fit nicely in a 7 or 8-inch pan. All right, now let's divide it down into two pieces. And each one of these should be right around 8 inches. And we're going to take it now and take this cylinder here, or actually take this rectangle and roll it up into a cylinder. Then we want to pinch the edges. Take one of our loaf pans. What we're looking for is for that to fit in the pan like that. Now we're going to take this and divide it into about 7 or 8 equal pieces. And let's cut this down. There we go, that's what we want to see right there. And we want to stick them just like that into the bread pan. I'm going to put these in the proofing oven, or you can just leave them in a nice warm place until they've pretty much filled up the bread pan. Now this is what we have here after about 50 minutes. What we're going to do is take a simple egg wash, just an egg, a couple tablespoons of water. This will help with the browning. Looks like this is going to be a really good loaf here. Really got a good rise out of it. All right, there we go. Let's get that in there now. I'm going to bake it at 350 degrees, probably around 20-22 minutes, but I'm going to shoot for an internal temperature of like 190 to 195. That's where I usually go with the sweeter breads. So let's get this in there, set the timer, and we'll come back and take a look at it. While we're waiting on our bread, let's get the glaze going. I got 3 tablespoons of butter here, almost completely melted, but just really super soft so that the sweetened condensed milk will mix in with it. So 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of sweetened condensed milk, and just mix to combine. That's about all there is to it. You want to get it pretty well mixed so that the butter doesn't have a tendency to separate too much. That's another reason why we want to take the bread and maybe let it set about 20 minutes or so. When you touch the top of the bread, it should still be warm enough to kind of spread the glaze, but not so warm that it's all going to run off and down the sides. Okay. That looks pretty good right there. The combination of the sweetened condensed milk and the buttery, kind of savory of the butter just makes a fantastic glaze and complement for the top of this bread. All right, that's ready to go. When the bread comes out, cools a little bit, we'll put that on and we should be done. Well, they're out of the oven now and they look absolutely fantastic. Mine took about 27 minutes. We're going to turn these out here, let them cool a bit. If you could only feel how light and airy this thing is. It is literally like a feather. You can just feel it, how soft this thing is. It's really like a giant pull-apart dinner roll. This one here feels like it weighs almost nothing. All right, let's let those cool for a while. I'm going to say around 20-25 minutes. All right, I think that these have cooled down just enough. They're still slightly warm to the touch. Let's go ahead and put our glaze on there. I'm going to go ahead and go down the sides too with it. Looks like I have enough of it here to do the 2 loaves, plus have plenty of extra. Looks like that's melting about right. Let's do the top of this one first to make sure that we don't run out. Can't wait to try some of this. Had it once before, and it is definitely a treat. And I believe that'll do it. I'm just going to let them pretty much cool down completely, and then we'll be ready to try some. Well, I think they're cool enough to check out the inside now. Let's grab one and take a look. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. So nice and light and fluffy on the inside. The taste is phenomenal. I really hope that you guys give this one a try. I think you'll agree with me that it is extraordinary. So I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Check This Out. Please take care, be safe, and we'll see you next time.